What if I told you that deep beneath the surface of society, in abandoned warehouses, basements, and back alleys, brutal fight clubs operate beyond the reach of the law? Fights with no rules, no referees, just raw violence and high stakes. Today, we're diving into the dark and dangerous world of underground fight clubs. You won't believe what goes on behind these closed doors. Many think fight clubs are just a myth, a Hollywood fantasy born from Fight Club and gritty action movies. But the truth is far more disturbing. These secret arenas exist in almost every major city, buried beneath abandoned buildings, hidden behind locked doors and clubs, or even set up in remote outdoor locations. Some are small-time brawls for local tough guys, while others are high-stakes blood sports controlled by powerful crime syndicates. But how did these underground fights start, and who dares to step into the ring? Let's uncover the brutal reality of the fight clubs the world doesn't want you to see. Underground fight clubs aren't new. They're as old as civilization itself. In ancient Rome, gladiators fought to the death for the entertainment of the masses, their fates decided by emperors and the bloodthirsty cheers of the crowd. Even in medieval times, illegal duels and bare-knuckle boxing were common ways for men to settle disputes or prove their strength. Over time, these secret fights evolved, disappearing from public arenas but thriving in the shadows, where desperate fighters and eager gamblers kept the tradition alive. Fast forward to the modern world, and underground fights have taken on a new form. While professional combat sports like boxing and MMA have strict regulations, underground fights reject all rules. Some are organized in basements and back alleys, where local street fighters test their strength, while others are grand, violent spectacles where men, and sometimes women, are thrown into a ring for the amusement of the ultra-rich. Some fighters choose this life for money, others for fame, but for many, it's a last resort, a dangerous escape from poverty, debt, or even worse fates. When you step into an underground fight club, you leave all rules at the door. There are no judges, no stoppages, and no one to save you if things go too far. While some fights follow traditional boxing or MMA-style rules, the more brutal clubs allow anything: headbutts, low blows, even weapons. It's not uncommon to see brass knuckles, chains, or even makeshift knives slipped into the action when no one is looking. And if you think the crowd is just there to watch, think again. Many of these fights are driven by massive gambling rings, where the stakes are high and lives are cheap. The brutality isn't just for the fighters, it extends to the audience as well. Those who don't pay their debts or break the unspoken code of these secret circles may find themselves forced into the ring. Once you're in, there's no backing out. Some underground fights are nothing more than modern-day gladiator battles, where wealthy spectators place bets on which fighter will walk out and which one won't leave at all. Fighters may risk everything, but the real winners in underground fight clubs are the organizers. Behind every ring is a shadowy network of criminals, corrupt businessmen, and sometimes even rogue law enforcement officials. These fights generate millions through illegal betting, entry fees, and VIP access for the elite who enjoy watching human suffering as entertainment. Some of the biggest underground fight clubs have connections to the mafia, drug cartels, and international crime syndicates that use these battles to launder dirty money. In the highest levels of these blood sports, the stakes go beyond money. Some clubs offer secretive, high-stakes death matches where ultra-wealthy backers bet not just on who wins, but whether the loser will ever get back up. These events are whispered about in dark circles, existing only through coded messages and exclusive invitations. If you think this sounds like fiction, think again. Authorities have uncovered secret fight rings where people have been killed for sport, and yet the clubs never truly disappear. They just move to another hidden location. Not all fighters step into the ring willingly. Some are forced. In the darkest corners of the underground fighting world, human trafficking plays a horrifying role. Kidnapped individuals, runaway teens, and even former criminals who owe debts are sometimes coerced into fighting against their will. These victims are often drugged, tortured, and manipulated into becoming entertainment for the rich and ruthless. For these unwilling combatants, winning a fight isn't about money or glory. It's about survival. Many are forced to fight multiple times a night, enduring bone-breaking punishment with no medical attention, and if they refuse, the consequences are worse than losing. The most brutal fight clubs operate in absolute secrecy, ensuring that the world never finds out about the lives being destroyed in their rings. Despite their secrecy, underground fight clubs aren't invisible to the law. Every year, authorities around the world crack down on illegal fight rings, raiding warehouses, breaking up betting rings, and arresting organizers. But shutting them down is like cutting off the head of a hydra. Another club always pops up somewhere else. These organizations are adaptable, constantly changing locations, moving deeper underground, and staying one step ahead of the police. Corruption also plays a role. In some cases, law enforcement officials are bribed to turn a blind eye, or worse, actively participate in the operations themselves. There have been reports of off-duty police officers and ex-military personnel running fight rings, using their skills to ensure fights are profitable and the law stays out of their way. For many fighters trapped in this world, the idea of justice is just as much a fantasy as escaping unscathed. For those who have spent years in underground fight clubs, leaving isn't easy. Some fighters manage to escape and start new lives, but many find themselves haunted by their past. Some have permanent injuries, while others suffer from psychological trauma, reliving the violence every time they close their eyes. The lucky few who make it out often become activists, exposing the horrors of the fight world in hopes of saving others from the same fate. But escaping doesn't always mean freedom. Many former fighters remain targets, hunted by those who once controlled them. Some disappear mysteriously, others are found dead under suspicious circumstances. The underground fight world doesn't just let you walk away. You either leave in secrecy or you don't leave at all. Now that you know the truth about underground fight clubs, the question is, what would you do? Would you step into the ring for fame, money, or the thrill? Or would you try to expose these hidden arenas, knowing the dangers that come with it? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's darkest secrets. And if you think this was intense, wait until you see our next video.